I don't wanna be taught by someone or have somebody consult with me that doesn't have their data in their damn bones. I am in a self-appointed apprenticeship. I am not an expert yet, and you should be really aware of that. Yeah, I'll live in a basement apartment, and I'll study astrology for 10 years straight alone in a room. I was, like, super down to do that. There are not a lot of astrologers who are alive, who have done more readings than me, who have
Mhm.
practiced and used the tool. And the thing about astrology, there's a lot of ways to use it. But if you're consulting with clients, if you're trying to
Mhm.
help people as opposed to doing, let's say, like financial astrology or something,
Mhm.
then if you don't have counseling skills, if you don't have people
Mhm.
skills, if you don't have like the depth of astrology skills, then you can actually do a great deal of harm. What's specific and exclusive to astrology is that it's unregulated. And so anybody can say, I'm going to start doing readings. And anybody can say, I've been studying for 10 years. And there's no checks and balances with it. And it's like, babe, if you can't apply it to humans, what is the point? I don't understand what is the point. They want to use astrology to distance themselves from their lived experience and their emotionality and
Mhm.
to try to control what they feel, to control the outcome of what's yet to come. And this is a gross misuse of the tool, and it doesn't work, and it just makes you an arrogant weirdo. I genuinely don't know how people live without quality astrology. I genuinely don't, because it has helped me to cultivate greater self-acceptance, to work with my nature, to make better decisions, to recognize, "Oh, the tide is not turning." Astrology is not the point. The point is finding alignment, being a healthy person, making good choices, navigating a very ableist, racist, capitalistic world and finding ways of engaging in that world with integrity. I just feel like as a society, we all agreed men are too loud. We need to stop listening to them so much. And yet, I look at the podcast charts. Guess what? It's all fucking dudes. It's like, what? When are we going to learn that? Like, when it comes to emotional, spiritual, and personal evolution, maybe they're not always the best resource. It's not like misogyny and
Mhm.
homophobia doesn't exist in the world of astrology just because it's a weird world. Unfortunately, it exists and it thrives. People wait a year to get an appointment with me. I was not cheap or free, and they would come in and they'd be like, "I'm just doing this for fun." And I'd be like, "You are really in the wrong place, babe. If you don't have authentic respect." I'm not talking about reverence, I'm not talking about obedience, I'm just talking about fucking respect for the tool that you're using and the practitioner that you're hiring to use that tool, then you shouldn't make life decisions based on the goddamn tool, you know? Intellectuals are always the hardest people to work with for that reason, because they want everything to be empirically proven to justify their sense of self, not so that they can make life decisions based on it. There is nothing but integrity in owning what you can't do. There's nothing wrong with saying, I can't do this. I don't have the answer. In fact, it gains a person's trust because then they know you're not blowing smoke up their ass, which is a terrible thing to do to somebody who's come to you for help because they're vulnerable. I am so fucking opinionated. I have an opinion about literally everything. You could ask me any question and I will have a reaction. Okay. Like I'm very opinionated. For me, I've never been in a situationship because I cut a bitch out of my life before that shit goes down. And I am famously like, I'm very out about, like, my very strong negative feelings about that form of astrology. Instead of centering their astrology, you center their humanity, and you use the birth chart as a tool for understanding their humanity, supporting their humanity, where they're at, when they're at. I was just like, this was such a grotesque, and usually I stay out of shit, but I was like, this is very inaccurate and very dangerous, and the person was like, "I'm leaving it in." You don't have to have any amount of study underneath you. If there are no prerequisites to such an advanced topic, then it is being taught by a charlatan or a person without ethics. Period. If fucking weirdo astrologers aren't gonna do it, who the
Mhm.
fuck is?